Good morning, traders. Welcome to another episode of Market in the Morning. I'm your host, Kevin Dubrisky, and we have a special episode today because today we have non-farm payroll and unemployment coming up. It's Friday. It is Good Friday, so the New York session markets are closed. Futures markets close around 9:15 today. Very strange. Usually closes around 1 p.m. Eastern. This time I was doing some research. Looks like we're closing at 9:15 a.m. Eastern. So guys, we'll see how markets want to play out. Usually these streams are from 8:20 to 9. If markets are giving us some good price action, I'll happily stay on a little later with you guys so we could take some trades and make some money going into the weekend. So guys, run that like button up because Market in the Morning starts right now. All right, guys, let's dive right into it. We've got headlines to cover. We have unemployment and non-farm payroll to cover. First, what do you guys think? Is this war ending anytime soon, or is it going to last weeks and then another notice will come out? It's going to last more weeks, more attacks. Let's hit unemployment. Let's look a little bit over the unemployment and non-farm payroll. Check their expected range and see what we should be anticipating going into it. To give you guys a little bit of a recap, last unemployment rate came in at 4.4%. It was a bit higher than expected. Prior to that, it was 4.3%. So down here with market, we're able to look at a historical data chart, and we see that December it peaked at 4.6%. This was wild. Once we came in at 4.6%, the Fed was saying if the following month, January, comes in at 4.6 or even a 4.7, that would almost force another rate cut. But we see that that did not happen. Unemployment came down to 4.4, then 4.3 in February, but now we're back on the rise. March gave us 4.4. We want to see if that wants to hit 4.5 again. Yeah, I'm thinking it lasts longer. Good morning, Eric. Good morning, Manchester. Guys, good morning. Drop a good morning in the chat if you're excited for today. Remember, New York session is closed, so this will be the only extra volatility and momentum we get, but that's fine. We should be getting a nice little move here. So unemployment forecast 4.4. As I mentioned, I'd like to see it a little bit higher. The range they're giving it is quite tight. They're giving it a range of 4.3% to 4.5%. So again, if we're on that maximum size, we come in at 4.5, we can expect a reaction. Non-farm payrolls over here. Let's take a look at that. What's up, Ted? Good morning. So non-farm payrolls, key input for central bank rate decisions, signals overall economic strength and trends. High impact released often moves currencies on surprise. Remember, guys, the three emotions markets move off of: surprise, uncertainty, and optimism. Prior month revisions can amplify the initial reaction. A higher than expected reading signals economic strength and is typically bullish for currency. A lower reading suggests weakness, putting pressure on the currency. Watch for revisions to prior data, which can amplify market moves. Now, the reason they say watch for revisions is because if they revised an old report down to be a lot less than what it really came out at, that's going to amplify and change how this next report comes out, comparison wise. So right now, what we're looking for, non-farm payroll, bank forecast is 60,000. Prior was negative 92,000. Prior, they were looking for positive 50K. It was negative 92,000 instead, over 110,000 job miss. Really not looking good on that sector. And again, looking for unemployment to sort of reflect that as well. Minimum on non-farm payrolls is negative 25,000. Maximum, we're looking at positive 125,000. So right now they're giving it 150,000 job range, all the way from negatives to positives. So very wide range. They're really going to be keeping an eye on that. Non-farm payrolls, unemployment, both of which come out in 6 minutes, guys. Be prepared. Let's take a quick look at the charts, and I'm going to show you guys the trade setups I'm looking for depending on how the news comes out. So right now we're looking at the ES chart. Find ES is a bit easier to trade. It's an easier trade than something like the NASDAQ, which has a lot of extra volatility, but both of them do trend together, so it's really up to whatever you prefer. Now on the S&P 500, I had this zone that was support yesterday. We held it overnight. So this is the area that if unemployment rate comes higher, we get some poor readings on our data, things are worrisome, economy's not looking bad. I'm going to look to see if we could break this zone. So we had support. I'd want to see if we could break this zone and have this area become now resistance. If we do not get that break with the non-farm payroll and unemployment, then I'm going to continue to look to trade the range that the markets have provided. And that range is going to be from that 6640 to 6600. So that's a 40-point range here on the S&P 500. Very simple, clean range to trade depending on how that non-farm and unemployment comes out. We could take a quick look at NASDAQ as well, guys. Probably pretty similar setup over here too. Yep, look at this. We have our order block here that is holding as support. Call that demand. We'll delete this old zone, is no longer relevant. And yep, look at that. NASDAQ, same thing. We have a little bit of resistance to the upside that we have been testing and holding. So we trade the range until the range breaks. And what we look for on days like today is that data to come out and give us that break. We have, what do we got? 3.5 minutes till we have unemployment and non-farm. We have private payrolls at 8:30 as well. We got a lot going on in the job sector at 8:30. Don't forget, guys, New York session is closed today. Run that like button up. Hopefully we find a nice trade setup. Last time we had unemployment and non-farm payroll, it came out higher than expected for unemployment, and markets gave us a pretty clean trend. It wasn't like a lot of people, I'm sure you guys have seen this. They'll put a limit order to the buy side, a limit order to the downside, and they'll wait for CPI or non-farm payroll to hit, and they think they make all this money because of it. When 9 times out of 10, when you do something like that, it'll wick you into the position, fill you much higher than expected, and then completely destroy the account on the other way down. So don't do that. Wait for the data to come out and then use market. Guys, the reason we have market is to utilize its performance, its ability to read these fundamentals and this economic data for us so we don't have to do all that research ourselves. Tell me, non-farm payroll comes out higher than expected. How are we looking to react? Lower than expected. How are we looking to react? It tells us everything we need. Okay, we got a new Trump headline. With a little more time, we can easily open Hormuz Strait. I do wonder if that headline had an impact on oil just yet. Let's see if we can pull up oil here. And we'll take a look at gold. So that headline did not impact oil. Oil is still above 112. This is crude oil right now. Guys, I mentioned it the last Market in the Morning episode, but me and Nolab really called that out on oil very, very well. This was Monday when we had that extreme rally after we started attacking them. The Strait closed. We had a pullback when he said, oh, it's going to end. We knew, me and Nolab said this is probably the manipulation before we continue higher. And that's exactly what we got, guys. Like, to a T. We pulled back, found 75, and now we're all the way back at 111 again, heading towards that 118. Remember, guys, higher oil prices, higher inflation. Next Friday, we have CPI data come out. I will host another episode of Market in the Morning for CPI data too. Want you guys to keep running the comments up. Does help the algo. We have data in, what do we got? Less than 2 minutes, guys. Less than 2 minutes. Let's pull up our ES. I'd like to see ES. We could take a look at gold as well. Gold is right over here. This is our dollar, USD, DXY. So same situation with gold where we had the support. This was support. It was resistance. It was support. This is a key area that we're watching. I do see that my canvas, the numbers are very small. So we'll make that a little bit bigger for you guys. Perfect. So we will look for possible longs on gold too if we could come back towards this VWAP level. I would be a little careful that because markets are closed, could really go one of both ways, right? Where everybody's saying, oh, markets are closed today, I'm not going to trade. And then non-farm payroll comes out and gives us a beautiful, easy trend. Or unemployment comes out, non-farm payroll comes out, they come out within expected range, and we get a whole lot of nothing. So let's split screen this, and let's see how we react, when we react, and where we react. Because again, I'm going to be looking for possible shorts given a poor reading on unemployment and non-farm payroll. But that doesn't mean I'm against longs. We have to be prepared for everything when it comes to the market. All right, here we go. Drum roll, please. As my camera glitches. Oh, come on, give us higher. Can we move up? Lower than expected on unemployment. Non-farm payrolls is heating up. People are hiring. Okay. All right. Interesting. Keep an eye on that. Dollar spiked. Gold is spiking too. Be careful on that. When you dollar spike, you want to stay away. Let's see our dashboard, our headlines that came out with that. U.S. government jobs, negative 8,000. U.S. March employment rate, 4.3%. So these are positives, right? I said if it's positive, it's positive. So looking for possible longs, possibly off. We could see if this momentum does want to hold. Look for 66.20. That 66.20, 66.13 possible stop loss. But we'd really need to try to hold this here. Could take it light in size. Stop loss again, like I said, 13.50. But if we do just dump and make our way back through this whole move, yeah, look at that. We're finding some selling pressure. Here we are into 16. Always looking to see the best buying opportunity. And if we don't see anything good, then there's no trade. Look at that. We're wicking back this entire move. Stop would have to be at the beginning of the move if you are looking for longs on this right now. But what I'm looking for is how this 5-minute closes to give me some insight into if we're having any follow through or not. Finding a little buying pressure here, 325 left in the 5-minute. I really wouldn't grab any positions right now with such little time left. I'd let this candle close if we want to create a long upper wick and then start selling off here. Great. Overall, the data was a bit more bullish though, so we do want to be a bit aware of that. But that doesn't mean price action is definitely going to react perfectly. Right now, we're seeing a lot of sellers step in. That was a huge imbalance that was created on this big spike up. Check that 1 minute time frame. Look at that huge pullback. We pulled back so far 23 points on that. I am not trusting longs right now unless somehow we're able to keep holding this 1 minute FEG down here. But we'd really need to start to hold it. If that's the case, we might look for a long entry, but I would not jump the gun so fast. We're getting more data. US Treasury yields rise after payrolls. Be careful when yields move higher, stocks tend to move lower. So let's let this 1 minute close. If it does close, might be giving us a possible entry. Stops at 66.11. Entries around here 66.15. Good morning, everybody. Guys, make sure you hit that like and subscribe button. If this fails, then we be patient and we look to see, can we find a move back to the downside? Originally, I wanted to see us try to break that to the downside. Yup, see that? It held for a moment. The next 1 minute printed and failed. We wait for this 5 minutes to close. It's got a minute 53 left. There's never any reason to force trades in the market, especially seeing the fact that markets are closed today, right? New York session, markets are closed. NYSE is not open. President Trump proposes 10% reduction in FY 2027 non-defensive spending housing budget. Always spending, man. Always spending. All right, waiting for this 5 minute to close. 15 also was giving me more of a bullish bias, but really just a matter of being patient now, in my opinion. I don't see a solid entry just yet, especially that this was our first news candle. If this candle does want to close somewhere, like even if it closes somewhere above this blue line, then yes, we'll look for a pullback and some longs. If it stays below this level, I'll look to see if we could find a rejection back lower. Let's see. Here, this is, let's see. Guys, good morning, everybody. Let me know, guys, what are your thoughts? We going long or short today? Or do we stay range bound? I love that we held this support, created a new support, rallied, came into this trying to rally again. So again, ideally, I would want to look for longs, but that doesn't mean I'm just going to jump in every chance I think I see, right? Once you start doing that, it's like, oh, we're moving higher again. Stopped out. Oh, well, now is the time. Stopped out. It's never worth it to get stopped out 1,000 times, guys. Do not fall for that. Do not overtrade. Do not jump into anything ahead of schedule. 834, unemployment non-farm came in as a surprise, in my opinion. And I say surprise because not too many people were expecting it to beat that expectations, right? To be below that 4.4. Look at that. Look at that. Sellers continuing. Okay, could be set up for a possible short position here. Again, a surprise in that that's the reaction of yields moving higher. Dollar is pulling back for the moment. Nope, really strong dollar there. Let's see. Next levels we have to the downside. We have 65.89. Again, might look for possible shorts off of this continuation move. So let's see how that wants to play out. I would just be a little careful on taking any positions. But remember, last time we did have non-farm payroll unemployment, it did give us a pretty clean trend. So we can look for a small scalp, see if sellers take control, even just to the pre-market low over here. But be patient, wait and see. If you don't see a good trade, don't take any trade. No reason to force anything, guys. Trade your setups. Let the economic data provide the volume and volatility we need, but trade your setups, always. Buyers are holding this level. We might be range bound here. We have 4 minutes left in the 5 minute here. I'm seeing a little bit of buying pressure start to fall in. We could turn our volume on, EWAP on. We are below VWAP right now. Ideally, remember, guys, I was looking for us to be weaker on the unemployment and non-farm payroll and to break through this level to the downside. We were stronger. We pushed higher first, but now it looks like we're trying to duck lower. I'd really just be very patient here and see if we could get some momentum going to the downside for some possible shorts. If not, we're probably going to try to hold these higher lows that we created. This was more of a lower low, and try to push back higher. We created this higher high with that news candle. We just swept the news candle low. Could definitely look to pop. Be patient. Could always look at things like the VIX. Now, unfortunately, the VIX isn't going to be too helpful in markets like this because VIX weighs options volume, and options don't open till 9:30 Eastern with the New York session, and we're not going to get that today. So just be extra careful, extra patient. Again, looking for possible shorts here to trade it back lower. There we go, getting a little bit of a move. My issue is okay, we're getting a little bit of volume at this low right now. Just got to see some follow through. 65.98 would be take profit one, guy. 65.98. Right there. That's that pre-market low level. But again, buyers try to step in. We have 2 minutes left on the 5-minute here. We could check our market dashboard. See what else could be fundamentally helping us or going against us. Fed Logan doubts inflation easing. Iran threatens Hormuz closure long term. I mean, these are all bearish fundamentals, bearish catalysts. There we go. There's another little move lower. Can always look to add into strength, right? We want to add to our winners. Just be patient. I don't like to add in strength. We want to take profit in strength, but let this 5-minute close, and then I might look to add on this trade. I entered once this 5-minute opened to look for the shorts like we mentioned before. Here we go. Getting a little bit of selling. Take profit one coming up 65.98. 65.98. Doing good, doing great. Here we go. Getting that kick in. Getting a little bit of pullback here before that 98 level. Again, I'm not adding down here. I want to let the 5 close. We have 1:23 left. That's plenty of time for markets to wick this low and move back higher. I do want to keep an eye on the 15. The 15, however, did break that low, so that gives me a little bit of confidence there. I like to use volume analysis, guys, in my trading. So volume footprint, things like bookmap, volume profile. So right now, our point of control on this candle is, I believe it's this -10 right here. So I want to see more volume pick up towards this -28. This is a negative delta. So what this tells me is it shows me the full volume traded here, plus and minus the buyers and sellers. There we go. Point of control trying to move lower. 40 seconds left there. Really want to see more volume to the downside. When we get more volume in the direction we're going in, that tells us that sellers are accepting price at lower levels. Here we go, guys. Not bad, not bad. They are starting to move the passive buyers up a little bit here, so I'd be careful that they're not trying to protect this higher low and give us a range. 16 seconds left. I do think that's actually what they're trying to do here, guys. Look at that, 12 seconds. Let this close, see where the dollar and gold, what are they doing? Is it just me or is gold not moving? Yeah, why is gold not moving? That's so weird. Gold market's closed? You guys let me know. We did close bearish. I mentioned I would possibly add if we get a little pullback here. We'll see if we can. Just be a little patient on that. If I am looking to add, I'll probably keep stop loss on the add a little bit high, a little bit lower than the previous stop loss. Because right now what we're doing is we're looking to trade the trend, right? We're looking for markets to move lower. So if it does reverse and start to hold this higher low, then instead of trying to bag hold and put my stop loss all the way here, I'd rather put it somewhere respectable where I'm saying, okay, if we move up here, my analysis is incorrect. We're not getting any trend. We're going to stay range bound. I'm out of the trade. Yep, right now we're getting that range. Be patient, be careful here. We're heading towards point of control right now, which is 66.08. 66.08. Stops are around 66.12, 66.11. Looking for more downside here on the S&P. If you were taking NASDAQ, it'd also be NASDAQ shorts. Just being a little patient, a little careful. The data did come in a bit more bullish than anticipated. But not for nothing, stronger unemployment and non-farm payroll kills the chance of a rate cut too. So there's always that to consider as well. We could check our Fed Watch tool and see where that's at right now. 99% chance they hold, 91% chance they hold. It does look like, though, nope, it's dropping. Yeah, that's crazy, bro. That is something, man. All right, we're pulling back a little bit here on ES and NQ. Nice little pullback area. See where we're trading. Recent candles point of control is below us still. So I'd want to see this more as a pullback than a full reversal. But we're not against it, right? That's why we have stop losses. The one thing, guys, that we control in the market is the trades we take and how much we lose on our losers. That's with risk management. Risk management is so important. Let's see. Again, I'm seeing a little buying coming here at 66.08. This is point of control of the day. If we scale above 66.10, probably just going to look to stop out around 11.12. Small trades, nothing crazy. Yeah, guys, look at that, 609. Yeah, very poor market conditions. 206 left in this 5-minute. Really need to see some volatility back to the downside, a little bit of a kick lower to help us create another bearish candle, longer upper wick. But if we don't, look, we swept this recent low and we're trying to hold. So stop loss is around 66.1075 and call it like 11. There we go. Stopping out right there. We're going to keep it light there. We're going to listen to markets. We understand that, sure, last non-farm payroll unemployment, it gave us a pretty nice trend. At this point, markets are very range bound. Minute 30 left in the 5, and the data came in more bullish than expected. So at this point, 15-minute candle closes in a minute and a half. I'd let that close and see how we want to react off here. Let's see. Not bad so far. If we close green here, possible longs, but we also want to make sure that we're acknowledging the price action that we're seeing right now. If I recognize that, hey, listen, we're getting green, red, green, red, green, red, green, red, then I know we're in a range. If I know we're in a range and it looks like we're going to go bullish, then there's a much better chance that whatever it looks like we're going to do, it's going to fail. So beware of that, guys. Market conditions are definitely a lot more choppy right now. Just ran into a bit of a buyer. Metals are closed for the day because of the holiday. Thank you. Yeah, I thought so. I was looking at that. I'm like, why isn't gold moving at all? Dollar was giving us a little bit of a move. Dollar is open. Gold is not. Nice. That's cool. That's cool. You can see them through Tether Gold. Very nice. Very cool. Ideally, at this point, because we created our data high all the way up here and our data low was created down here, we created the data high, and then we came back and we took out that data low. So if we can try to reverse, I wouldn't be surprised if we made our way back to that high. But just because you wouldn't be surprised with something doesn't mean you should just take the trade. If we were looking for longs near the open of this candle, possible target that's at a high, we'd need to see some volatility back towards those highs again. Possibly what would be really helpful is a headline. If a certain somebody could post a tweet about how the war's ending soon, that would be great right about now. See, this is already starting to struggle. Came to VWAP starting to struggle. We have very low volume right now. We had a volume increase when non-farm payroll came out right here. And then what happened? Volume decreased, price declined. Stay patient. I'd like to see if we could hold above 66.12. That's our VWAP 66.13. If we cannot get that, we are probably going to stay, like I mentioned, range bound. And that range is then going to be defined by 66.12 and 66.04. Just got a headline right there. Could see what that was. Unemployment growth, is that what that was? No, we just got a new one. 27 budget funding for Golden Dome to reduce shortfalls in critical mineral stockpile to build ships. So that's nothing major. That's just Trump's Golden Dome. Yeah, very low volume now, guys. When we have low volume, we cannot expect that much of a trend. So we see both sides are failing now. When both sides are failing, we're traders, guys. Nobody's got a gun to your head saying you have to take a trade right now. Stay patient. Manage your risk. We are risk managers. We are not just traders. Not for nothing, this almost looks like a good scalp opportunity to the downside, seeing how range bound we are, right? Sell the highs, buy the lows. But let's not even. I don't think it's worth it. I think that's rushing. It's forcing trades that aren't really there. And that's not what we do, guys. It's not how we do things. We trade smart around here. Unfortunately, right, we were hoping for a move because S&P, New York session markets are closed today. 15-minute time frame, 30-minute time frame, closed in 12 minutes. 15 closed okay. Hourly also closes in 12 minutes. And look at the hourly candle, guys. Where we are right now, look at that massive upper wick we've created, almost like a big rejection candle to this recent high we made overnight. So that could be a possibility, again, to break lower. So right now, if this is a 50-50 market, that is a no trade market. Where it's like, oh, well, buyers could take control because the fundamentals were good. That's great. But technicals are leaning a bit more bearish at the moment. And some of the other fundamentals are also bearish, right? Trump vows more Iran strikes. We know that that's more bearish. But that doesn't mean we have a great setup right now. If anything, what I would really ideally like to look for is if we could get into this area somewhere up here, because up here I know that there's a lack of volume. Price moved so fast and reversed so quickly that there's a ton of orders up here that we're not able to get filled around like 66.18, 66.18. And again, we would just be looking to trade the range. We want to trade the range that the markets provide. We never want to try to go for those big, massive moves. And guess what? If we do, then we're usually trading off our zones too. But we don't go for a move that's out of the blue. Right now, today, this move, this is all out of nowhere. Let's see. Pulling back again now, bearish on this candle. Guys, again, we're repeating the pattern we've seen overnight. A chop higher, consolidation, a big drop. Chop, chop, chop higher, chopped lower. It's just inconsistent price action that we do not want to take any part of. S&P did hit the 6620 area that market had panned out as a pullback area, no less. That's interesting. Getting some selling. They're pulling volume on the block right now. We still vibing even. Yes, sir. You know it. Gold long or short into the new week. It's definitely going to depend. We're getting some volume here. I'd be careful. And closed. Don't sell these lows now. Don't sell these lows. We saw what happened to the last few guys that tried selling lows, right? So wait. Let's see. Gold long short going into next week's going to be definitely a tough call. I would say where we at? Yeah, definitely a tough call, man. I mean, we're trying to push more bullish on the daily, but we have had that major pullback on Thursday. It's really going to depend on how markets move overnight, over the weekend, and what headlines we get over the weekend, because the weekends have sort of been the hot spot for when Trump announces things. And the reason for that is because he tries to do this, and this is any president. They host their bigger announcements over the weekend or over market close so that people can't panic sell. They don't want to cause such a ruckus in the market that there's a liquidity issue and banks start, and there's just a huge economy problem because he made an announcement during New York session open. So they try to post their announcements overnight. Here is some more selling pressure. Again, ideally, it's like I wouldn't want to go long either, but I wouldn't want to go short just yet. Again, almost want to go long, seeing that these people short down here are trapped if we don't go any lower. But we could also see how we want to react if we can get back to this other 6,600 level. If we don't get to that, could be a hold. Let's see. Trying to push a bit lower, man. Going to bomb more during the weekend. Yeah, right. People are in cash mode. Yep, yes, sir. Got to be in cash mode in these kinds of markets. Too much uncertainty. If you're a long-term investor, though, definitely a great opportunity, great buying opportunity where we are right now. So there's always that, because over time, if you look down the road, um, 6 months, a year, 2 years, markets are going to be higher than where they are, right? Historically, that's how markets move. So if that's the case, then yeah, now's a great time to buy when we're 10% off of all-time highs on the S&P and NASDAQ. But day trading wise, right, better to either stay cash or size down. Stay cash or size down. Those are the only two options for day traders right now. I'd love to see us hold this zone and trade back higher and trade this range again. That would be fantastic. We'll look for some longs down here on these trapped sellers and stop at that low we created before. And again, just trading the range, just right back to VWAP. Check Bitcoin. We could check Bitcoin. I got you. I believe Bitcoin was at 66,000 last I checked. Bitcoin did not really give us a reaction. Similar reaction to the S&P and NASDAQ, I suppose. But 66,000 Bitcoin is even more of a don't touch, don't trade. Minute 40 left in this 5 minute. Running out of time for these sellers to take control and really start dumping us here. No upper wick on this current 5, but that does not mean anything. Volume can take us lower, could do whatever we want. Yep, we're getting ready to dive there. Let's see. Minute 20 left in the 5 minute. Do we want to take out 6,600? Now, originally, I wanted to take shorts if we broke this huge zone right here. So I was waiting for non-farm payroll to come out, create a huge down move, and then trend lower. It did not give us that. It gave us an up move, and then it gave us a range. 59 seconds left here. 59 seconds left in this 5 minute. Markets are not giving us anything solid to trade off of. If the last 50 seconds of this, guys, we start dumping here, we might look for continuation on the next, but really not looking likely at the moment. Now, we are getting selling pressure here at the lows. I use a tool called Bookmap. I'll show you guys that briefly. That shows me volume analysis via the bubbles we see on the chart and passive orders via the heat map levels. I'm just trying to move that now. But it is showing some sellers at these lows. So again, I wouldn't be surprised if we broke lower, but I also understand that we're very defined by this range that we're trading in right now. Volume is much lower, not much expecting going on in the markets, and not much of a move expecting either, right? Unemployment, non-farm payroll, they did come in within range. Non-farm payroll. So prior minimum, it came in at minimum. Non-farm payroll. Non-farm payroll actually did beat. So that did beat. Trying our best to hold that low, but I don't think it's going to hold. This chop tells me we're probably going to break that low and then push back higher for a little bit, but other than that, it's really a tough spot. I wouldn't look to take any trades. Cash is a position, guys. Always remember that cash is a position. 15-minute time frame closes in 5 minutes. Would be great if we created another lower wick here, just like we created the last few 15-minute candles. If we do start to dump, keep an eye on this current 15 that we aren't starting to trend. 4 minutes left in the 5 minute. Would love to see some buying step in here and again take us back within this range. A lot of people trying to short right now, taking this break down, seeing that, oh, we're going to break this level, I'm going to go short right now. And then boom, what happens? Markets reverse on them and they aren't green for a second on that trade. So be patient. If you don't see anything, don't take anything. Hey, good morning, everybody. Good morning. Good morning. Would really like to see us climb back above 66.04 to show me that buyers are trying to step back in this range. If they can't, then guess what, guys? There's a whole lot of nothing. A whole lot of nothing. Screaming a whole lot of nothing right now. Let's see. There we go. A little bit of a move. there's 0450. Would like to see us back just towards the range of 66.11, right? We're trading the range, so nothing major. I think you're now. Listen, man, everybody's got their takes. What do you trade? Guys, let me know what strategy you guys trade. I'm supply demand, a little bit of volume analysis as well. It's important to see the insights, but it's also important to use tools like market for the fundamentals. Coming back at the bottom of that range. Finding a little buying pressure at 04, but struggling. Really not I don't want to say not tradable markets, guys, but very range bound, not giving us a consistent trend. Remember, New York session is closed today. Futures market closes, I believe, at 9:15 a.m. Eastern. Guys, let's see. I'd like to see these buyers take us back 66.09. 2:15 left in the 5-minute. Looking more like a struggle. I wouldn't trade these markets, guys. I'd really save your capital for Monday, right? Save your capital for Monday, knowing that this is a holiday weekend. New York session is closed. Volume is not stepping in anytime soon. Don't force any trades. You're going to blow your account if you take trade after trade. Minute 12 left. Selling pressure coming in again. Not worth it. Don't even. That sucks, guys. We were really hoping for some type of move today with the non-farm payroll and unemployment, but we're not getting it. We're getting more of a downside move, a slow chop lower. Trying to break. Minute 35 left. 15-minute was looking to close more bearish. We had some wicks in the past few 15-minute candles, but here comes some selling pressure. Probably going to take us lower here. We failed to hold this low for so long now that, yup, look at that. It's almost, I don't want to say destined for us to break it, but it was more likely for us to break it, seeing that buyers kept failing to reverse us higher there. Getting selling pressure. It's just a very choppy move. We have a minute 7 left, 15-minute closes in a minute. Ideally, I would stay out of this still. I still don't see any A+ setup. You can even look at the 1-minute chart, guys, and the 1-minute's still not giving us anything valid either. If we had a 1-minute fair value gap here, or whatever you trade, there's no system right now, no trading system that will give you, oh, perfect, entry and exit right now. Unless you're scalping, unless you're trading the small moves, you're trading the range, there are no clean moves in this market right here. Let's pull the chart up full screen. Let's pull up our market one more time, see if there were any other headlines, anything to expect. Let's see, U.S. employment growth rebounded in March. Unemployment rate falls to 4.3%. NFP rebounded plus 60K versus consensus, but unemployment fell to 4.3K, beating expectations. A major data shock for Fed policy. U.S. March average house earnings, all private workers, up 0.2% from prior month. U.S. March average earnings up 3.5% from year earlier. Consensus was 3.7. Really not seeing much, guys. Not seeing much headlines, news-wise. Non-farm payroll, a little bit of a dud today. A little bit of a dud, especially because of the, well, I guess supposedly really because of the markets being closed today. When markets are closed, we do not get the volume we're looking for. And even non-farm payroll, the volume kicked in the first candle. It had no follow-through. It failed. And then the failure had no follow-through either. So what do we see in these markets? Range. What do we do when we range? We sit on our hands, we turn our computers off, whatever we got to do so that we don't overtrade. Guys, we're going to be wrapping up market in the morning in just a moment. If you guys have any other questions, please feel free to let me know. Trump budget seeking to eliminate $4 billion in EV charging funding to states. Okay, nothing crazy there. Let's see, budget including funding for Golden Globe. Nothing major, guys. Just keep an eye on your market terminal this weekend because I do believe he's going to be saying something soon, most likely over the weekend. Let's see, price moving lower. And don't forget, New York session closes, I want to say 9:50. Yeah, look at this, guys. We could see right here on TradingView. Look at the time here on the crosshair. So here's 9:10. We're on the 5-minute time frame. 9:10 closes at 9:15. And then here's our 6 o'clock Sunday. So 9:15 is when markets closed. It's almost like markets weren't even open at all today. So guys, On that note, I hope you enjoyed today's special episode of Market in the Morning. I'd apologize that markets didn't give us an entry, but guess what? We have no control over markets. We're just here to react, go over the data we see, go over the information that's provided, and go over the zones that we find to give ourselves an edge in these markets. So guys, have a great rest of your day. Have a fantastic weekend. Have a good holiday if you celebrate. Make sure you smash that like and subscribe button. I'll be live again next Tuesday. And next week we have CPI as well. Now CPI should have a bigger impact, and the reason for that is because of where oil is at lately. When oil's higher, it impacts inflation to the upside, so it brings inflation higher. So that's going to be very important. We'll keep an eye on that, and we'll see how things play out. All right, everybody, have a great day and a great weekend. Peace.